There is one song every Zimbabwean knows by heart, one melody that stops a room, one name whispered with reverence, Leonard Dembo. Today we tell the full story. A rural boy from Chivi, a poet with a guitar, the man who gave Zimbabwe Chitekete and left too soon. He sold over 100,000 copies in Zimbabwe alone. His song played at a Miss World stage. And he never lived to see how far his music would travel. Before we meet Leonard, you need to understand Sungura, Zimbabwe's electric heartbeat. Guitar strings tuned to sound like an mbira, township grit, village soul. Sungura musicians didn't just play guitar, they made the guitar speak Shona. Every riff carried the spirit of ancestors. Every song was a proverb with a melody. 1980s and 1990s were Sungura's golden era. Zimbabwe was newly independent. People were hungry for music that sounded like them, and Leonard Dembo answered that call. On the 29th of December 1959, a boy named Leonard Tazvivinga Dembo was born in Chivi District, Masvingo. Dry red earth, scattered homesteads, and the song of the mbira in the air. Chivi was not a wealthy place, but it was rich with language, rich with proverbs, rich with stories passed around evening fires. Young Leonard absorbed every word. Somewhere in his youth, Leonard found a guitar, or perhaps the guitar found him. He taught himself to play the way Sungura masters did, by ear, by heart, by instinct. Leonard's first step onto a stage was with a group called The Outsiders. Small venues, modest crowds. But even then, something was different about this young man's voice. The road was not easy. Zimbabwe's music industry had no shortcuts. Leonard struggled with poverty. He struggled with obscurity. Songs like Nhamo Moto, Hardship is Fire, weren't just lyrics. They were his life. But Leonard fought back the only way he knew how, with words. He packed his songs with Shona proverbs, with sumo, with the raw wisdom of ordinary people. His lyrics were a mirror held up to Zimbabwe. Then came the moment that changed everything. Leonard Dembo formed Barura Express. And this band was different, tighter, sharper, built around his genius. His voice was not the loudest. It was the softest, a near whisper that somehow cut through everything. People stopped what they were doing just to hear him finish a sentence. Songs began pouring out of him. Sarura Wako, choose your own path. A message of self-determination woven into a melody so tender it made grown men cry. Then came Mazano, wisdom in song. And Ruva Rangu, my flower, a love letter so pure that Zimbabwean women claimed it as their own. Leonard was speaking directly to people's hearts. The people gave him a name, Musoro We Nyoka, the head of the snake. In Shona culture, a title of cunning, of wisdom, of something that cannot be stopped. Songs like Sharai and Chinyemu showed a different side of Leonard. Not just romance, he wrote about jealousy, about betrayal, about the complicated, beautiful mess of being human. And then there was Nzungu Ndamedza, The Pot I Cracked, a song layered with metaphor and sly Shona humor. Leonard could make you laugh and cry in the same breath. Shiri Yakangwara, The Clever Bird. Venenzia, a song of mysterious longing. Every album felt like a journey through the full range of human feeling. No other artist in Zimbabwe was doing this. Then, in the early 1990s, he released the song that would define him forever, Chitekete. Chitekete was a love song unlike anything Zimbabwe had heard. Tender, patient, poetic. It described love not as passion, but as devotion. A quiet, unshakable bond. The album Chitekete reportedly sold over 100,000 copies in Zimbabwe in the early 1990s. That number was unheard of. It made Leonard Dembo a household name, from Beitbridge to Kariba. In 1994, Zimbabwe's Miss World contestant Angeline Musasiwa used Chitekete for her campaign, a rural boy's song from Chivi, playing on a world stage. Leonard had arrived. Which Leonard Dembo song means the most to you? Is it Chitekete, Sarura, Wako, Ruva, Rangu? Drop your answer in the comments. We read every single one. Those who knew Leonard described a man shockingly humble. No arrogance, no distance. He'd sit with fans after shows, answer questions quietly, always gentle, always grateful. Even as his health began to fade in the mid-1990s, Leonard kept creating. His song Tafadzwa, We Are Grateful, felt, in hindsight, like a man making peace with everything. In early 1996, news began to spread. Leonard Dembo was ill. His fans refused to believe it. This voice, this gentle, unstoppable voice, could not be silenced. On the 9th of April, 1996, Leonard Tazvivinga Dembo passed away. He was 36 years old. Zimbabwe went silent. 36 years. That is all he was given. And in those years, he built an entire world of sound. Songs that held Zimbabwe. Songs that still hold Zimbabwe. And here is the miracle. Decades later, Chitekete still plays. At every Zimbabwean wedding, every family gathering, every moment that calls for a song about love that lasts. Young Zimbabweans who were not even born in 1996 know every word of Sarura Wako, of Ruva Rangu. A man's voice, reaching across time, still teaching, still healing. Leonard Dembo did not just make music, he preserved language. He preserved Shona culture at a moment of rapid change. He is Zimbabwe's griot. He is the poet the ancestors sent from the red soil of Chivi, with nothing but a guitar and the truth. Leonard Dembo showed Zimbabwe, showed Africa that your story is worth singing, and the world will stop to listen. If Leonard Dembo's story moved you, if you believe Africa's legends deserve to be remembered, then subscribe to Legends of Africa. These stories belong to all of us. If Leonard Dembo moved your soul, you need to hear the story of Alec Makeso, the man who took Sungura to the next generation. Watch it next.